been so hard on yourself. I love that you have such high standards, but those aren't high standards. That's called perfection. And most people overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades. And you haven't been around long enough to have those extra 2 or 3 decades. There's time. And if you give yourself just a little bit of time, and if you'll be a little more loving to yourself, I think you're gonna find you got a lot to give. I have this deal with myself called priming. It's 10 minutes, I put some music on, I do this massive change in my breathing so it radically changes the way I feel. And then I do this 3-step process. First, I do 3 minutes of gratitude, where I think of 3 things I'm really grateful for. And then I do a 3-minute process of kind of a prayer for my family and friends. And then I do a 3-minute process of the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I see it as done, and I feel it. I'm done in 10 minutes. So sometimes I go 20. But my deal is 10, so there's no excuse not to do it. He says to his son, you got your first job, you're 18. I'm going to require that you take $300 every month, $150 a paycheck, and we're going to automate it to this separate account. And it sounds like I can't do that. He goes, let me tell you why you want to do it. It'll be up to you. If you promise to do that and you really do it and you automate it so you don't see it, and you do that for 8 years, you'll never have to invest again and you'll be financially set for life. His son goes, come on, Dad. 8 years, $300 a month, what is that? If he does the math, he goes, that's $28,000. Over 8 years, $28,800. $28,800, how's that gonna do anything? Especially if I don't add any more money after 27 years old. He goes, let me show you, son. The market's gone up 10% over 30 years. Let's apply a lower number, let's do 8%, be conservative. Let me show you what the numbers are when they compound. You know how much he has when he retires? $1.8 million, and all he put in was $28,800. Which one do you think most people spend more time focusing on, what they have or what's missing?
What's missing?
What do you focus more on?
What's missing?
The focus on what's missing is not something that comes with someone who is a failure. It comes very much with people who are very successful. And the question then becomes, if you're always focused on missing, how can you sustain happiness?
You're in a permanent place of lack.
That's correct. So scarcity is there. So you'll have drive to keep staying on the hamster wheel of achievement, but you're not going to see much fulfillment, not in a sustainable way. It's impossible. It has nothing to do with you or me, right? It's just software. And we got a soul. We're not software, but you run your software so often, you start thinking your mind is you versus my mind is a tool that I'm going to use. Or if I don't use it, it's going to use me. So the majority of people do that. And by the way, during COVID, that number exploded because so many things were taken from people. They were constantly focused on what's missing, and that produces nothing but pain.
She's a mother first, before anything else, before her own needs, before her own sleep, before her own dreams. No job, no title, no expectation from the world will ever come between her and her kids. She wakes up tired, but she gets up anyway. She pours her love into little souls who don't even realize how much she's sacrificing. She's the safe place, the warm hug, the steady voice when everything feels too big. She worries about things no one else even thinks about. She carries the weight of their happiness, their health, their future. And somehow, even when she's running on empty, she still finds a way to give more. She'll fight for them, break for them, rebuild for them, because that's what mothers do. And she wouldn't change it for anything. Sure, she's a woman with goals, dreams, and a past of her own, but at the end of the day, before anything else, she's their mother, and that will always come first. If this hits home, comment, "She is me," or share this with the person on your mind. And don't forget to follow, because this page is for you.
I have this deal with myself called priming. It's 10 minutes, I put some music on, I do this massive change in my breathing so it radically changes the way I feel. And then I do this 3-step process. First, I do 3 minutes of gratitude, where I think of 3 things I'm really grateful for. And the reason is, when you're grateful, you can't be worried. You can't be fearful. When you're grateful, you can't be angry. And anger and fear are what screw people up most in their relationships, in their life, in their business. Most people want to be happy, but their habit is to be worried or pissed off or frustrated or stressed. And so they've got a highway to stress and they got a dirt road to happiness. So I wire myself. I've got a highway to gratitude, which changes all your emotions. And then I do a 3-minute process of kind of a prayer for my family and friends. And then I do a 3-minute process of the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I see it as done, and I feel it. I'm done in 10 minutes. So sometimes I go 20. But my deal is 10, so there's no excuse not to do it. There's only one reason you're suffering. You're focused on yourself. Self-focus creates suffering because the nature of the human mind is to find what's wrong. And we're all selfish at times, but if you stay selfish, you suffer. The fastest way out of suffering is appreciation. There is no better way. You cannot suffer and appreciate. You cannot be grateful and suffer simultaneously. And the only way you can appreciate is get outside yourself and notice the grace of your life in some way. Listen to me now. You want a different life right now? Want to transform your joy right now? Trade your expectations for appreciation and you have a whole new life. What makes you hate yourself? Is it the red shoes?
What?
Is it the red shoes?
No.
Are you sure? Because they're f***ing red. Don't you be smiling like that. You f*** everything up. If you smile like that too much, you'll want to stick around. You've been so hard on yourself. I love that you have such high standards, but those aren't high standards. That's called perfection. And most people overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades. And you haven't been around long enough to have those extra 2 or 3 decades. So don't f*** it up. There's time. And if you give yourself just a little bit of time, and if you'll be a little more loving to yourself, I think you're going to find you got a lot to give. I'll give you a little test. Look around this room right now and notice everything you can see that's brown. Look all around, both sides of you. Anything you see that's brown. People at home, look at that in your own room. Whatever you see is brown. Okay, close your eyes. Tell me everything you just saw that was red. Now, obviously, you saw a lot more brown, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're looking for it. Open your eyes. Now look for red. Look for red anywhere you can find red. Any place you can find red.
Okay.
Okay? Did you find more red this time? How come?
Because I was looking for red.
That's right. Once you develop a belief, you find what supports it. I bet you saw some beige shit, called it brown just to feel successful, did you?
Right over there.
I bet you saw some things burgundy and called them red just so you could feel successful.
I factored in some of those now and later.
You see what I'm saying? If you think you're screwed up, you're messed up, you're going to find and you're going to color yourself that way. Whether you think it's true, whether you think it's not, it's going to be true for you. In other words, whatever you believe is self-evident. You reinforce what you believe. You found what you were looking for.